Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to helping players improve their battlefield skill through the use of field command and advanced tactics in this awesome medieval combat game. For those that have been following along with the campaign, things have gotten a little bit worse lately. I'm being kind of pushed in on all my frontiers. In the south, the Western Empire has really taken hold as a powerful nation. Of course, Dunglanis, which is always fucking sieged, is being sieged again. And things have gotten more difficult because my long-term ally, or at least my long-term partner in peace, Sturgia, had the fucking insolence to declare war on us, even though they were being attacked by one of our allies, or one of my enemies rather. They declared peace with them, the Khazaits, and then right in the middle of our most difficult moment, they decided to declare on war on us. So instead of just paying them for peace this time, I think it's time to fucking remind these fucks who the vassal is and who the lord is in this relationship. Put on a fucking ass whipping here, and then after that, we'll see how much money they want to give us for peace, and we can move on. For some reason, I can't catch this force. It looks like I'm carrying... Yeah, that's right. I was trying to carry grain to a city, so we'll dump this grain here and then have a battle with Sturgia. Now, this is actually the first battle in literally years of game time that I've had against Sturgia. They've been kind of an uneasy ally for quite a while. They're gathering up a nice sized force here. This is their Grand Prince, whoever the fuck this guy is. But we're gonna teach these fucks a lesson. We'll run at normal player damage, and I've had a lot of requests for me to fight Sturgia. So this is your opportunity to see a battle, how I deal with Sturgia. Now I'm tactically in a kind of shitty position here. I'm positioned at the bottom of the hill without a lot of terrain that I can use for advantageous tactics. But I have a plan already, and that's simply because I know my enemy, right? That line from The Last Samurai. He wants to know his enemy. If you know your enemy, if you know how they fight, if you know what tactics they use, what troops and strengths and weaknesses they have, you're better suited to fight them, right? So we're gonna essentially do some kiting here. I know Sturgia has very weak or moderately weak cavalry anyways, relatively uninspiring archers, but very tough infantry. The problem though for them in this battle is that their infantry is slow. We're going to take advantage of that. My troops many of them are quite fast. I've got elite units that can move around the battlefield. So we're going to kite. This is going to be another example of kiting to a kill box, where we just surround their attacking infantry and annihilate their forces here. So you're going to see me, I'm going to lay out effectively a C formation again. You can call it a U formation if you'd like. Sometimes it's called a crane formation, where you make a hollow area in the middle and then your flanks sort of extend around the sides of the enemy. And if they're foolish enough to come into that U, and into the bottom of that U, so to speak, it's fucking curtains. And they do have a good amount of cavalry here, so we'll have to do a little bit of skirmishing early on. But their main threat to me here is that giant block of infantry, right? They've got very tough infantry. A lot of them have high-level armor, very high-level weapons and helms. I got some guys pulling in kind of aggressively here. But what we're going to do is effectively bait them, right? We're going to make them think they have a chance to get into melee with us, because that's their only hope to win, is to have their infantry come to grips with our forces, but we're not going to let them. Right? This is advanced tactics. Some might call this expert tactics, because you're keeping track and moving of 8 units at the same time. Maybe someday I'll do a slow motion of this for people who really want to learn this, but you're effectively kiting and making that same U shape that I was talking about earlier bigger as the enemy moves towards you, right? So the right and left flank, the side I'm on right now, we'll call that the left flank, right? So from the perspective of our army, I'm moving it out further to the left side. I'm moving our infantry that's in the center back further, and then the troops that are on the far right flank, I'm moving them out further. It kind of looks like we're running, right? Like a lot of enemies would be like, look at these pussies, they can't wait to run. In reality though, we're just setting up a wicked trap. And these enemies here are going to find out real quick who the pussy is in a hurry here. Alright, so we're moving again. Our forces back just a little bit. They kind of reached that cavalry line there. That cavalry is all on a shield wall. That's designed to slow down incoming cavalry. They'll probably get a few kills there. But those are high-level cavalry, right? They've got a little cavalry line here trying to charge. We're going to try to beat this off. Their cavalry does represent somewhat of a threat, right? So I've got my cavalry that I'm dragging through, and the purpose of that is simply to interrupt their cavalry. What I mean by interrupt, of course, is just distract them. I want their cavalry sort of dealing with my archers. Now we're at the back of the map, and you might think that's that's a disaster, right? You can't kite, you can't go further back. Well, all you do is simply pull units around the edges, and then get ready to collapse on this Sturgian force. So, now at this stage, I actually have archers that are borderline behind this force, right? Not only are they being pounded with ammunition already from the two flanks, but the 4th and 5th archers are almost behind them. In other words, they're like shooting arrows into the back of this force, right? Meanwhile, I've got cavalry just kind of running around causing chaos. I don't know. I think that might have been the first death I've even suffered in this battle. It's just been a wall of green as they try to come to grips with me. The last advantage, too, that I haven't mentioned is their archers are still trying to catch up to this fight. Right? Their archers probably positioned back like normal archers do, way behind us, and they're probably not even within range. You can see them way out there, probably trying to run up to the battle to support their troops. Well, by the time they do, it's going to be too late. Now the Sturgians in this case, ironically, if you've ever watched the Nature Channel, are acting exactly like the ball of fish, right? The ball of anchovies. When intelligent mammals are circling them and preparing for the kill, those ball of anchovies will then ball up into a tight formation, mostly out of fear. This is a primal behavior because they realize they're fucked at this stage. They know now they can't catch us. Right, if these were real troops, they would be fucking terrified. They can't catch us, and they probably understand what's going on, that they're being trapped, they're being surrounded, and things are going very badly, right? Life is flashing before their eyes because death is imminent, right? You can see, I'm kind of taking this to an extreme now. Our troops are now almost completely wrapped around this force. They're in this prey ball in the center, and part of the reason I'm doing that is to weaken them, right? I have a lot of ranged units. At this distance, it's not easy to see, but there's all kinds of arrows flying in. There's all kinds of javelins flying in there, and that's just, you can see the green death spam. That's their force being weakened even further. You can get a little better view of it there. The projectiles just flying in on them. So what we're ultimately going to do is collapse all these units on this force at the same time. Right? This is going to be the 1st Infantry. The 8th Infantry, the 6th Skirmishers, and both cavalry units. It's kind of another example of a KillBox. It's a little different, of course, but it's a very similar idea, right? We're kind of kiting to a KillBox. See those archers there behind me? They're actually behind the enemy, cutting off their retreat. And in we all go, and it's just an absolute massacre. Right? The troops the Sturgians were already weakened by all those projectiles, and once they're collapsed upon by 5 different groups at the same time, it's curtains. Now, always thinking ahead, right? Now we're going to deal with these archers, and probably, yeah, they already have infantry reinforcement waves coming. That predictably, right? Their whole force got annihilated, and 12 seconds after the kiting and destruction there. Now we're just going to go through here and weaken their archers, right? I've got cavalry dragged behind me. I've got other units that are moving up. We're going to continue this onslaught. We're not going to let the enemy, in other words, we're not going to let the enemy catch their breath. Now there'd be nothing wrong with sitting back, but in this battle I want to demonstrate sort of further domination by surrounding the reinforcements before they're ready to fight. Take a peek here. I always like to go up to high ground anytime I'm in a battle where I might be able to gain the tactical edge or see something. Understanding what the enemy's doing is vital if you're gonna have good tactics. And so I try to take the high ground whenever I can, just to see if there's something I'm missing, either an advantage that I'm not taking advantage of, or perhaps a weakness, some kind of disaster that I'm not aware is happening as well. So this infantry's kind of coming in hodgepodge here, a little bit messy. They're kind of over here by my 8th Corps. I've got my 1st Infantry just sent on charge. 6th Infantry is also sent in on charge, and the 8th Corps will send in as well. Archers are providing support. Because they're so spread out like this, you actually want to attack them aggressively. When the enemy's jumbled up, it's better to kite like we did earlier, because they're going to have much more of an impact with that many troops. But when the enemy's spread out like this, and your huge line of infantry is just pounding and pulverizing each guy with with 3 axes and 2 spears, you want to attack that right away. So I don't even need to watch what's happening with the rest of the battle. I'm checking out the next wave of reinforcements. Honestly, I can tell. I knew what was going to happen already, and I can certainly tell from the death spam what happened. Right, it was a complete extermination of the Sturgians right there. So it seemed like, I don't remember the exact number, but they had over 2,000 troops. So we're going to set up another C formation for this last, well, I don't know if it's last, but one of their last reinforcement waves. If you don't know, if you run with a max battle size of 1,000, your reinforcement waves tend to be between 400 and 600. This looks like, yeah, this looks like it's just over 500, right? It's mostly infantry and archers. A lot of their cavalry, of course, at this stage are dead. But we're not just going to fly. We don't need to fly right in here. We're going to, again, form a C around these guys and then collapse upon them. I've got other battles to fight after I teach these Sturgeon fucks a lesson. And so I want to minimize the casualties I take in this battle. And it's also obviously a great opportunity to show you how to dominate the Sturgeons using speed, kiting, archers, and KillBox tactics. So you can see their infantry there is charging my main line of infantry. The problem they're going to have is that those infantry men are elite, right? Those are very high level infantry. So we'll hold the fort with those, and then the 6th and 8th groups can collapse upon the enemy. Right? Let's also get our archers up on this high bank. There's already another wave of reinforcements coming. The enemy's dying so quickly that their reinforcement waves are just pouring in. We're actually going to use this higher ground with our archers. I've got cavalry in a square over there just to sort of distract some of their cavalry from pouring in the side. Obviously, I wouldn't have to do that at this stage. You know, I could very easily just drag my cavalry right through them. So you see this next infantry wave. What we're going to do is we're going to pull back a little bit. Again, form kind of that C or U shape around this force and close in on it, you know, for one more devastating attack. Concentrated attacks, that's absolutely one of the most keys to battle, whether it's real life or this battle against the Sturgeons. They actually kind of look like they're fleeing. And if they're fleeing, you know, we're going to kill as many of them as we can. And teach these fucks a lesson. Yeah, they got 330 there. We might as well just mop up. I've got the 8th and 2nd Cavalry just tearing in just to kill anybody. Sometimes when your enemy's thinking about wavering, the best thing to do is just fly in like a reckless fucking banshee, kill as many guys, cut off some heads, and their morale is bound to crash, right? 2 or 3 beheadings here for these fucking insolent vassals. Yeah, I bet you guys are ready for peace now, huh? If you struggle with Sturgeon, I'd appreciate other comments about what may be giving you difficulties. Obviously, you have to have the right army composition to pull off the kind of massacre that we just did here. I think most of the different kingdoms can pull off a similar army composition. Obviously, if you're using Khazate, it's a very different battle, right? The whole game is played differently as a Khazate. I've done it once, and honestly, I just kind of felt it slow and tedious. It's effective, but slow and tedious. But the other realms, whether you're Imperial or Britannian, you should be able to pull off a very similar massacre. Sturgeons they're not a weak kingdom. As long as you know how to defeat them, though, I think they're pretty easily dealt with.
Follow me!
So once again, I appreciate everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments, if there's things that you see that I'm doing that perplex you, or even ways that you think I can improve, I'm always looking to improve. Right? I think that's how you should both play games like this, strategy games like this, and live your life. Right? Like honestly, everybody should be in the gym. You guys should all be learning as much as you can about life. Right? You should always be trying to improve yourself. If you take that same motto to Bannerlord, of course you're going to fucking dominate. You might as well dominate real life as well, though, too, folks. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. All the subscribers. The more subscribers, the better. We can grow a larger community here. The larger community, the more people we get in here, the more brain power we have, exchanging ideas. We can all get better at this game and have a good time while we do so. So let's see what we'll take a peek at the battle tally here. What a massacre that was. 9 guys lost. I mean, that's about as close as a perfect victory as you can fight. I mean, 3 killed, 9 lost. So Hopefully you enjoyed this example of expert tactics. I'll see you folks all next time.